She sold sadness in small bottles. A pale, uncertain dawn filters through the tall windows of the solarium, casting long, fragile shadows across rows of glass vials. A silent archive of sorrow, each bottle is labeled with care, marking moments of regret, heartbreak, and missed chances. Their dates etched like tombstones in time. The air trembles with a sensation not quite sound, a spectral hum, the residue of emotion freshly drawn from a soul in need. At the center of this melancholy tableau stands the sadness seller, hands cradling a dark vial still warm with the remnants of Mr. Thorne's regret. Their work is precise but haunted, as if every gesture must weigh the invisible gravity of what is being contained. The act is clinical, almost sacred, a sealed way of pain, a transaction of clarity and relief. The seller's inner monologue flows like a half-remembered dream, revealing the careful ethics of their trade. They do not peddle sorrow itself, but its absence, the silence after the storm, the solace that follows suffering. The vials are artifacts, discarded remnants of anguish lined up like morbid trophies behind glass. Yet the task is fraught. Each bottle threatens contamination, not just of the air, but of the spirit. The seller recalls a time when they tried to absorb another's sadness, an experiment that nearly unraveled them. Certain vials, like areas shattered hope, still pulse with danger. A reminder that grief, once captured, is never truly inert. Surrounded by these relics, the solarium became a sanctuary, both luminous and shadowed, a place where suffering is transmuted, but never forgotten. The mood is meditative, tinged with a quiet dread. The burden of bearing others' sorrows and the never-present risk of being consumed by what one seeks to contain. She sold sadness in small bottles. Dim morning light pours through the tall windows. Glass vials line shadowed shelves, each labeled meticulously. The sadness seller stands at a work table, holding a small dark vial. A faint imagined hum lingers in the air. The hum in my fingers, always the hum, not a sound, not really, more like the memory of sound, a vibration just beneath the skin, a whisper of the neural frequencies I had just siphoned from Mr. Thorne, whose regret for a choice made decades ago was a dull, persistent ache, a fog. He paid handsomely for clarity. He always did. The seller seals the vial, inspects the label. Thorne, lost opportunity, 2107-2185. The seller shelves the vial beside others. Decker, unsent letter, 1407-2185. Aria, shattered hope, 307-2185. No, not selling, not the sadness itself. That would be perverse, a cruelty beyond my capacity. What I sell is the absence, the quiet, blessed void behind. That's the service in the bottles. The bottles aren't the refuse, the byproduct, a consequence. What does one do with captured sorrow? Release it into the air? Contaminate the very light with it? Absorb it? I tried that once. Never again. The area bottle, the one that almost broke me. Memory flash. The seller, racked with pain, clutched a bottle labeled area. The sharp, glittering guards of a dream crushed. It was like drinking acid, leaving a ghost ache behind. My ribs for weeks, never again. The cellar stands still, lost in memory. The hum persists. My own emptiness, that's how it began. Not the absence of sadness, but the absence of anything. A flatline world. After an accident. The flash of green light and the silence that followed. The therapy drones had tried. Pills. Neural repatterning. Simulated joy. All just echoes of echoes. Until I stumbled up on the resonance, the unique frequency of pure emotion, a way to feel something again, by feeling others, by taking on their weight. Just for a moment, then containing it. My own peculiar brand of empathy extraction. Quick flashes. The seller walks through a busy market. Curious eyes following. Whispered conversation in the air. Can I buy a bottle of true melancholy? I need inspiration for my art. My daughter, she's never truly grieved her father. Can you give her a touch of it? Morbid, desperate, ignorant. They didn't understand the nuance. They didn't understand the cost. Back in the solarium, the seller polished glass bottles, wiped dust off labels. The hum is now faint, aching note. The drain from my fingertips up my arms, setting in my chest, a dull ache, a phantom limb of emotion. It lingered, always, a residue. The faint scent of ozone and old tears, my own tears, sometimes, when polishing the glass, wiping dust from the labels, each one a tiny tomb, a victory for the one relieved, a quiet burden for me. Memory flash. Mr. Thorne smiling faintly as he leaves the lighter. The seller watches him go, uncertain. Was it helping, Mr. Thorne? He smiled as he left, a fragile, tentative thing like a butterfly wing, just unfurling. But what had he lost? A part of his history? Was it right to remove, to prune the thorn branches of memory, even if they bled? The consensus, the ethics committee, they said yes. Quality of life, mental well-being. But I saw the ghost of a shadow where the pain used to be. A smooth, unblemished surface covering a hollow. The seller stands before rows and rows of bottles. Sunlight catches dust, motes in the air. The bottles, rows and rows. Sunlight catches the dust motes dancing around their shoulders. I never open them, not anymore. Just a faint pulse I feel sometimes, pressing my ear to the glass. A heartbeat of someone else's broken dream. A library of sorrow. My library for research, for understanding, or just a hoard, a dragon guarding its treasure of grief. A young woman, barely 20 cycles, sits across from the cellar. She looks exhausted, nerves flickering with artificial energy. I lost my spark. I want to feel something raw, authentic. Am I even human anymore? Irony. She wouldn't be getting a bottle again, though. she'd be losing her own manufactured despair. And I'd add to it the collection, a tiny vial of digital ennui. Night in the solarium, the cellar alone, a distant thrum. The seller lifts a bottle to the light, contemplating its contents. Sometimes, late at night, when the city was a distant thrum and the stars were just pinpricks in the black, I picked one up, anyone, holding it to the light, and wonder, could I ever put it back, reimplant the pain, return the truth? Did they truly want it back? These people who paid so much to be free, or were they just lighter, and I, in turn, heavier? The weight of the world bottled on my shelves, and the hum of my fingers growing stronger, always stronger. The hum swells, filling the silence as it fades. Thanks for listening to The Narrative Mindset.